Hey y'all, so I'm going to share my dream that God has blessed me with around 3 days ago. I wrote it down in my book. So yeah, I'm just ready to share it because I've gotten confirmation by finding this Bible verse. So I wrote it down. This is, as you can see, this was the date. This is the time where I wrote it. So I was in this place. It didn't seem or feel like New York. It looked like a countryside type of state. I was working at a retail store that sells shoes, most likely sandals and stuff. So the store only has sandals, and I was helping out customers and stuff looking for sandals. So, and it was bright outside, so it was summertime. So it was definitely summertime because of the shoes people were buying, and because it felt like summer. It was sunny outside. When I went outside, it was this large empty area filled with like grass, right? Then I looked up in the sky or the clouds and saw upward bodies, not just a face. It was multiple bodies. At first, I couldn't recognize because I'm thinking, why isn't it just one? Because my previous dream, I've seen a face in the clouds. Right, that was my prophetic dream, my first dream. It was about 5 faces and 5 bodies. At this time, I didn't know what that meant. I only recognized one face, and I recognized it was right in front of all the other people. And I right off the bat knew that that was Jesus. Once I see the face and the bodies in the clouds, I realized it was Jesus. So I yelled, Jesus is coming. Then I looked around in the sky and seen there was a tsunami about to crush all of us that was on the lot. Not only was there a tsunami, there was also a rectangle shape. It was a large rectangle shape, and it had an outline, and it was glowy. You know, like how a halo look and how a halo would be glowy. That's how the rectangle looked in the sky, and the tsunami was covering all sides of the rectangle. The tsunami was covering the clouds, and inside of the rectangle was the clouds. So outside you couldn't see nothing, like there was no escape, and like the waves were covering the sky, and inside the rectangle it was still sunny. You could see the clouds and everything. So the best way that I could describe the rectangle was wide, and over time, like over seconds, it would become smaller. And instead of me saying it would become smaller, the word narrower just kept popping up in my head while writing this down. So I'm like, okay, let me just write that down because that's the best way I could describe it. But it's going to get juicy. Stay for part 2. Oh, and I forgot to mention, so when I was like in the store helping the customers find shoes, like, and I could really visualize the shoes, like it was sandals and flip-flops, like. Anyways, in my head I'm like, well, these people wearing these shoes. Like this was not it. But anyways, I recognized there was a family there. It was one of my coworkers. She was there. I don't know why. But then there was a family. It was this girl, her brother. The brother was looking for some sandals. And then I remember their father was there. I don't know if their mother was there. But the girl, she was like, I'm going to go play video games. Right, but I feel like that's just a sign of, people just distracted because of what else I'm about to say. Y'all gonna kind of understand. So there was, I want to say 5 people. I can say there was 5 people. I'm not too sure, but I'm feeling strong about 5 people. There was 5 people there, and they were like still like everybody around me. I was telling everybody Jesus is coming. Like, are y'all being blind? Like, do y'all not see what's happening? Do y'all not see with the clouds? You see the clouds, you see the tsunami, you see the rectangle. Like, everybody was just so in denial, and I was the only one that was just saying Jesus is coming. Like, I was telling everybody, get down on your knees. My grandma was there too. So these 5 people, they look like, I don't know, they just wasn't phased by it. So boom, their souls, like how I can describe their souls, it was like a ball of light. It was a circle, glowy gold light, and it went up into the triangle, the rectangle. It didn't go inside the waves. It went right up into the rectangle. So in my head I'm thinking, this is the rapture. And in my head I'm like, in my head, I'm thinking, I'm like, how did I not make it? I did everything right. I was fasting. I'm currently still fasting. I've been praying the Bible. I've been listening to gospel music, fasting from social media, fasting from music. I've been turning away from sin. I'm like, how did I not make it? Like, but I still didn't give up. I'm still praying. I'm still worshiping God. I'm like, God, you're beautiful. Oh my gosh, I love you so much. You are the only God. You're the kings of kings. You're the only way to the heaven gates. And I'm just really, like, really on that. Like, I was terrified, y'all. Then, once the souls transcended into the triangle, I keep saying triangle, rectangle, my vision automatically transferred. Right after I thought, how did I not make it to the rapture? My vision automatically transferred to a map. Yeah, it transferred to a map. Look at part 3 to see what else I'm about to say, because it's going to get juicy, y'all. So, yeah, I also forgot. I told y'all, like, how my grandma was there, right? So, I kept telling my grandma, trying to convince her to pray. She kept, like, being in denial. She's like, no, he not coming. I'm like, Grandma, do you not see what I'm looking at? And I'm like, Grandma, please, just please. It's a one too quick thing. Like, come on. You see how fast everything is about to be crushed right now. So she finally, after me trying to really convince her, she finally get down on her knees. But she going mad slow, like, nah, but she's going mad slow. But I feel like that's meaning behind all that. I'm not saying it has something to do about my grandma specifically. I just feel like it's people in general. Like, right? So as soon as she almost get close to, getting on her knees, that's when my vision transferred to, my dream transferred to a map. Now, I'm looking at the map. First, I'm looking up a little bit. I'm a little confused. I'm trying to, recognize it a little bit, because you know how, okay, so I'm looking at it, I'm like, that's America. Because I'm looking at the bottom. You know how America and Canada, they attach. So at first, I'm like, trying to, if you just show me America right off the bat, I'll be boom. That's it right there. But I seen the map, right? Now, remember I talked about the souls transcending into the rectangle, right? Now, those souls were on a map. It was like as if it was locations on the map. Now, this is the part where it gets a little blurry, and I'm still asking God for confirmation. But when I found this Bible verse, that was it for me right there. And I just really wanted to share it with you guys, because I'm just really eager to, like, let people, So these souls were like locations on the map. It was the map of America. I know my map, right? And instead of it just showing America, it showed America, with Canada on top. In the locations, one location that I automatically knew, it was one, New York. It was another one, California, and somewhere on the west. It was more on the west side, and there was just more off of the map. But I could really, right off the bat, hands down, tell y'all 2 specific locations that I remember: California and New York. Boom, my vision go right back to the waves. Now I'm looking back at the waves. Now I see the rectangle is getting narrower. It's getting smaller and smaller. And I don't know who I was holding next to me, but I was holding tight to somebody next to me, and I was not letting them go. I'm terrified. I'm thinking about, oh, there's no way out of this. Like, what can I do? I'm trying to think. I'm like, what can I do? There's no way out. Like, the tsunami is covering all sides of the rectangle. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be swimming with the sharks, the fishes. I don't know what's under that. Okay, so I'm thinking, I'm like, how can I get out of this? Like, there's no way out. The wave is covering everything. Like, there's no way out but prayer. So I don't know who's next to me. I'm holding on to them tight. I'm not letting them go. I'm probably squeezing them. They probably hurting right now, but I know they don't feel like, because that adrenaline is going crazy. Like, I'm terrified. I'm thinking, all right, let me go back in the retail store, because it'll be less scarier for me. I'm over here thinking, like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's under that water. Like, I'm scared of the ocean, y'all. Like, but it's not a fear, but I'm just thinking about the sharks, the fishes, the whatever. You feel me? Because besides the point. That's how scared I was. But all I could do was just praise and worship, because that was the only way out of it. Repentance. I'm repenting. I'm worshiping. I'm not stopping. My mouth is not closing. I'm just holding on to the person. I'm like, yeah, you not going nowhere because I can't do this by myself. Like, so boom, you know how my first prophetic dream, I had got confirmation while looking up people having dreams on YouTube that God had blessed them with. I tried that with this dream, tried to test my luck. Well, not my luck, just because So this is the Bible verse. Matthew chapter 7 verse 13. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the road that leads to destruction. And many enter through it, but small is the gate, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Now, when I first heard this, I already knew the first word that jumped out to me was narrow. Because like I said, when I'm writing it down, I just kept thinking narrow, 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 narrow. Like, that's the only way I could describe the rectangle. And then the destruction part, the tsunami. The narrow gate, the rectangle, like I said, it was glowy like a halo. Inside the rectangle was clouds, and it was still beautiful and sunny. Outside of it was just pure destruction. Like, but small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. Now, remember the souls that I was talking about? The souls wasn't going nowhere but inside that rectangle. It couldn't go nowhere else because the tsunami was just everywhere. If you wanted to whip it, you could not whip it throughout nowhere. You wasn't going nowhere. And part of me, I wanted to go inside the retail store because it would make it less scarier for me. But I couldn't do it because God, he wanted me to see that the rectangle just kept getting smaller and smaller, like narrow. It just kept getting narrower and narrower as time go by. And I'm holding on to this person, and I'm just like, I'm praying, I'm in and out of prayer, and I'm just keep looking at the rectangle, keep getting smaller. Keep looking at the rectangle, keep getting smaller, and then my dream ended. Now, I got confirmation through